Good men make up the vast majority of homelessness on the streets in most American cities. They occupy to overflowing capacity homeless shelters because of an income that put housing just beyond their reach. They sit alone in quiet anguish, wondering how to replace an income that took 20 years to achieve. And in that quiet anguish, the answers never come back. The jobs and the support never return. And yet others are faced out by a cold-hearted spouse upon those cold city streets.
Good morning, and welcome to the debut episode of the Early Morning Show. Today, my opinion is on how to lose like a winner. Now, anyone can enjoy winning at their own chosen craft or career in life, but how good are we at losing in that profession? How good are you at losing at life in general? Has life knocked you down so low that you feel you will never rise again? When you look around you, do you feel that your peers are outpacing you in every measure? Now, understandably, men are having a hard go at it in this pandemic economy. I can understand that. But if you find yourself struggling to achieve what you lost, maybe it's because you're aiming too low at success. Maybe life has dealt you such a blow to where you no longer shoot for the mountaintop, but you are willing to settle for the molehills of achievement in life. Before any of us can transition to the next level of success in our lives, we must first learn to enjoy failure. I know it sounds strange, but it's true. I'm suggesting that you are going to have to learn what I did in becoming a better loser. Once I was told by a good person when I was down and out that once I reached my personal bottom, to be sure to bounce back. Don't stay there, he said. So I took that guy's advice and did just that. Now, it didn't occur overnight for me, but it was a process that led me to where I am today. What is your personal bottom? When he gave me that advice, I was laying flat on my back on a sidewalk. Homeless, brother. I had nothing. Penniless and hopeless. I had all three. Okay? And all this was due to my failing at the biggest and brightest business I had ever created. It was then that I reviewed and looked at the way I was handling the situation. It was then that I understood that I won famously, but I lost miserably. In America, as the intro explained to you, men make up the vast majority of homeless persons each night in shelters scattered throughout the industrial heartland, all across America. And many more make up the overwhelming majority of homeless on the city streets, on just about any city you can name. You name it, they're there. See, I understand their plight because I've been there. The flip side of the argument is that men also make up the majority of successes over their female counterparts in business. They do much better and they profit much more wildly. These same men, though, not only make up the majority of entrepreneurial starts, but also lead in entrepreneurial failures. And I have been there too. But when boys who age to become men fail in life or business, we tend to take it harder on ourselves than our female counterparts do. You believe that? As boys, we are bred not to lose. Don't lose. Win always. Compete against somebody and win. We're bred not to admit weakness. We are made not to show failure or to appear that we don't know what we're doing. That's how we're raised. Now, at least not in public. Because this philosophy, we end up being the lead attendants at our own pity party once we fail and fall flat on our faces. We're not prepared on failure and the bounce back as much as we are coached to win, win, win. I believe that we are engineered much differently than women and that we take failure much worse because we fire on a perfectionist level that most women will never experience. And it is precisely due to that lack of this perfectioning level that women can simply walk away from their own mistakes in business, in their personal life, or marriage life. It simply doesn't faze him. And not give a damn. Where men prosecute the case against themselves for their failures years and years after they have resolved the issue. The issue is done. It is solved. Okay? So how do we move on? By failing our way out of our doldrums is what we need to do. In the same fashion that we would expect to win our way out of them. For I tell you this, brother, that life at times is filled more with what are called failings than what you would call winnings. For this reason, I am going to give you some suggestions on how to survive and thrive mentally in the lap of failures as you would in the lap of luxury. You can't get to one without others. A lot of people say you will fail your way to success. That is true. My initial advice to you would be to learn to own your own failures. Because if you can't own your own failures, then you can't truly own your own successes, which places you in a vicious cycle of short-term success followed by longer-term failure. Okay? So a lot of us choose to actively take part when we are winning in life, but go on automatic pilot when we lose or this loss knocks at our door in life. We go on, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? My advice for this is learn to laugh at your losses. Because typically the positive person always bounces back to a better financial position than they lost before the loss. Have yourself a pity party, but not a pity party, a better party. Say to yourself, boy, I lost the shit out of that business, and next time I will have better knowledge when I attack this idea the second go around. Or, boy, they sure did fire my ass, and tomorrow morning, I'm going to make myself for a better career and a better person. Own your failures, because you made them just as you made your successes. If you are failing at a bad relationship or marriage, own it. Own it, brother. Most men in relationships who are being played or disrespected by women who have no respect for them whatsoever usually do everything in their power to what? To try and hold on to a person that is running away from them at light speed. But if they were thinking with their big head instead of their little head, they will release that burden of a person to what life has awaiting them outside of marriage. Let them go. They'll find out. Harry Hippie in a song, you might have heard it. But when a man is allowing physical, mental, or verbal abuse from his mate, he feels that he doesn't deserve any better. He feels that if this woman chose him, then he must be lucky to have her. He neglects to imagine that half of the Earth's population is female. So we're talking roughly about 4 billion women occupy the planet. We occupy the other half. So what you must do when you lose a job, a business, or relationship is to increase your sense of deservedness. I'll say again, increase your sense of deservedness. And then immediately give yourself that which you deserve. Okay, it's one thing to increase it, but then to give yourself that. What do I mean by that? Don't let your fall from grace be a wake-up call for what you deserve. In life, as men, we increase what we financially deserve, but we never increase what our soul deserves. Case example is that a man would not accept as an adult the salary he gladly accepted at the age of 16 years. Nope, can't do it, not for you. He wouldn't take it, not even if he was hungry. Why? Because he has increased over time what he feels he is financially worth. This is why many guys take it so hard once they have lost what they feel they are financially worth. You look at a guy without a job, he is lost. I don't know what to do. I don't have a job. But during the same time period, we set ourselves up to lose in jobs or relationships to other people because we don't increase our internal sense of deservedness, which has nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing to do with money whatsoever. So once that part of you is broken, you will see a grown man walking bent back or sitting on a park bench slumped over, drinking out of a bottle until the bottle has drunk out of him. So use this time if you are down in the dumps to square your shoulders back. Sit up straight. Since we are not groomed to accept defeat as proudly as success, we take loss very badly as men, which changes us from positive to positively negative. So remember, you have far more to lose than material goods, women, or money. You can lose your soul on the way to success if you don't learn to enjoy your failures along the way. And learn to laugh at yourself along the way. Don't be always so tiresome and boring. I laugh every day. So, I hope you enjoyed this commentary. We got more to come up on a brand new show. You guys come back and see us. Don't go anywhere. Tell your friends to watch. We'll be back in just a minute. Good coffee. And now let's take a peek at the news that affects you on this 5th day of October, 2020. With only a mere 29 days remaining until the next presidential election, President Trump took what I will call an ill-advised trip outside Walter Reed Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland, to greet his strongest supporters. Everybody's gathered around at the gate to cheer him on. But on a more positive medical note for this guy, his health is said to be improving. Trump's medical status unclear as doctors say he could be discharged as early as today. President Trump could be discharged from the hospital where he is being treated for COVID-19 as soon as Monday, according to his doctors. Although his condition remains unclear and outside experts warn that his case may be severe. Moving now to Iran. In Iran, the number of coronavirus cases seems to be accelerating. Reports record high 3,902 new coronavirus cases, as 235 died in the last 24 hours, with the total number of identified cases in the worst hit country in the Middle East rising to 475,674, as reported by state TV. Then Health Ministry spokesman Seema Zadad told the television station that 235 patients had died in the past 24 hours, equaling a daily death toll set on July 28th. And now turning to news within the Nobel Peace Prize in Medicine Committee. The scientists who helped identify hepatitis C virus win the 2020 Nobel Peace Prize in Stockholm. So you have 2 Americans and a Briton who won the 2020 Nobel Peace Prize for Medicine on today for work in identifying hepatitis C virus, which causes cirrhosis and liver cancer. The joint discoveries by scientists Harvey Alter, Charles Rice, and Briton Michael Houghton meant there was now a chance of eradicating the hepatitis C virus completely. The award-given body said prior to their work, the discovery of hepatitis A and B viruses had been critical steps forward. Troubles for passing the latest U.S. coronavirus relief package from Washington, D.C. now. The renewed effort in the U.S. Congress to reach a fresh deal to pump coronavirus case relief funds into the pandemic-hit economy has been further complicated by the news that President Trump, for 1, and 3 senators, for 2, have been tested positive for COVID. Word about the 3 senators' results prompted Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to announce over the weekend that the chamber would be out until October 15th. So there's no chance of passing that coronavirus relief bill. If you thought you had money coming, change your mind. But he suggested he did not see an imminent deal on the bill following a week of talks between Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. Pelosi and Mnuchin talked daily last week and met in person on Wednesday in an effort to negotiate a new bipartisan aid package to respond to the economic fallout from a pandemic that has affected 7.4 million Americans, killed more than 209,000 Americans, and thrown millions out of work. Next, and moving right along, how does cold weather affect the strength of the virus? As cold weather rises, U.S. states see recorded increases in COVID-19 cases. 9 U.S. states have reported record increases in COVID-19 cases over the last 7 days alone. Mostly in the upper Midwest and West, where chilly weather is forcing more activities indoors, see? On Saturday alone, 4 states, Kentucky, Minnesota, Montana, and Wisconsin, saw record increases in new cases. And nationally, nearly 49,000 new infections were reported. Now, the highest for a Saturday in 7 weeks, Kansas, Nebraska, New Hampshire, South Dakota, and Wyoming also set new records for cases last week. Now, New York is one of 18 states where cases have not risen greatly over the past 2 weeks. However, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said on Sunday he is moving to shut non-essential businesses as well as schools in 9 neighborhoods. Let's watch how that's happening. People are going to be massively pissed off. He's planning on doing this start on this Wednesday. Now, the lockdown will require the governor's approval before he can do something like this. Health experts have long warned that colder temperatures driving people inside can promote the spread of the virus. Moving now to Wall Street. On Wall Street, stocks recover on signs of Trump's improving health. Stocks and other risk assets rose on Monday as signs that Donald Trump's health was improving. It brought relief to markets after the uncertainty of his COVID-19 infection, which sent investors rushing for safety last week, all of last week, really. And a brief glimpse at the stock market before the opening this morning. There's almost unchanged. The S&P 500 is at 3,348, unchanged. The Dow Jones is at 27,682.81, down a fraction of a percentage. You could just about say unchanged. The NASDAQ, 11,075. The FTSE 100, up a percentage point to 5,945.82. And finally, the Nikkei 225 is up a percentage point and a quarter to 23,312. So, that's the news for this morning. Make sure you watch us this afternoon. Imminent news still occurs. It just doesn't take place on this particular show in the morning. It's at nighttime, it's news only, so you'll see it, imminent news. I thank you guys, and we'll be back in just a moment. Don't go nowhere. Tune in each morning with us for your current forecast. And now, your latest weather from select cities from the United States of America. Washington, D.C., highs today, 68 degrees, 0% chance of rain, winds northwest, 6 miles per hour. Memphis, Tennessee, highs today, 67 degrees, 0% chance of rain, winds northeast, 4 miles per hour. In Chicago, Illinois, highs today, 60 degrees, 0% chance of rain, winds southwest, 4 miles per hour. In Los Angeles, California, highs today, 92 degrees, 0% chance of rain, north-northwest winds at 1 mile per hour. In Burlington, Vermont, highs today, 63 degrees, 15% chance of rain, winds south-southeast at 5 miles per hour. Tune in tomorrow for the weather on M&M. Welcome to the Man's Bartender. Each week, we give you a segment on how to make mixed drinks at home yourself. Now, what are we doing this week? You scream, I scream. We all scream for what? Ice cream. Now, there's many drinks that you can do with ice cream, but this week we're doing a cookies and cream vodka Coke float. You better stick around, brother. You're gonna enjoy it. Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of The Man's Bartender. Now today we're gonna do something that I enjoy, mixing ice cream and absolute vodka. Now, today in the Guys Bartender, we are going to be making one of my favorites, like I said before, the cookies and cream Coke float with a splash of vodka for heat. Now for this exercise and enjoyment, you're going to need a mug. It is better if you take that mug and freeze it overnight in the freezer. It won't crack it because mugs are pretty thick, but it gets it nice and toasty. It does something real good for the flavors also. You can use Bluebell cookies and cream ice cream. You don't have to. There's a lot of companies make cookies and cream ice cream that are just as great. I'm using Coca-Cola. If you want to use some other cola, that's fine. It's up to you. Using Absolute Vodka today. This one has a mango flavored vodka. It does not have to be mango flavored. But when you're doing something that requires the cookies and cream, Coca-Cola, you need something that has a tang to it. Like you can substitute the mango. You can use a little splash of lemon. Whatever, okay? So we're going to use those items. And we're going to use a bartender spoon. We're going to use a scoop. We scoop the ice cream. And we're going to use a shot. Okay? So for this recipe we're going to fill up the glass. So maybe about 3 scoops of ice cream. Let's see here. Put that down at the bottom. Tell you what, let's put more than that. Alrighty. That ought to just about do it. Make sure you're in a safe place when you drink this, like in front of a lazy TV because you quit that day. Alright, cover that back up. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and pour the alcohol over that ice cream because it's going to settle at the bottom, but it's going to flavor that ice cream. Okay? I'm going to use the larger part of the shot. For 1. Now pour it right over there. And you can also pour it over the table like I did right there. That's also good. 2. See? Never miss pouring it out. And that's good for most people, but I'm not most people, so let's go ahead and do one more. Alright, there we go. Put that down. Go ahead and get some good old-fashioned Coca-Cola. You can see that the vodka's already interacting with the ice cream there. Pour it over that, understanding that that soda wants to come out of that glass, right? So be kind of careful. A little bit more. That's what we have the bartender spoon for. We can go ahead and agitate that a little bit. You don't want to mix it all up that way. Just enough to make sure that that alcohol is in there. Now what you can get is a straw, and you can drink that directly from the straw. Or you know how us guys do it, drink it directly from the mug. But there you have it. The convenience. Cookies and cream float with a splash of vodka for heat. Enjoy. I know I will. We'll be right back in a minute, guys. Enjoy. Rush right out and get these products. And do something for yourself this weekend. Remember I told you guys before? The largest time in America that people get heart attacks, especially men, is at 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Because they fear going back to work. A lot of us work real hard, but we don't play as hard as we work. Okay? So, love you guys. See you soon. Don't go nowhere. Be right back. I hope to see you back next time on The Man's Bartender. Join me each week, and we're going to be making some great drinks, some crazy drinks, and stuff that you can prepare for your friends at a party where it looks like you've been a bartender for a long time. Thank you for watching M&N. As we close out the first new episode of the Early Morning Show, we welcome you back to the Men Voting 2020 studio. As of today, there are only 29 days left until election. Some people are cautiously worried about the current president's coronavirus scare, while others are troubled with the former vice president's seemingly bouts of memory loss and constant bouts with misstating the facts. What we do know is that Donald J. Trump is 74 years old. And we also know that Joe Biden is 77 years old. Both guys are known as septuagenarians, but both legally are capable of holding the office. For the Constitution does not set a maximum age for the office, but it does set a minimum age for the office, that being 35 years of age. For voters on both sides of the aisle, not to worry, because there is the 25th Amendment of the Constitution for incapacitation of the President. The 25th Amendment to the United States Constitution says that if the President becomes unable to do his job, the Vice President becomes the President. The 25th Amendment describes the sequence of events that would install the Vice President as acting President against the will of the President. They have 21 days from the first meeting to determine whether the President can resume duties by 2/3 plurality vote of both houses in Congress. The 25th Amendment of the Constitution was largely motivated by the assassination of President John F. Kennedy and the modern understanding of what it takes for a seamless transfer of power in the case of illness or death. As of this morning, Mr. Trump's doctors expect he will make a full recovery of this global pandemic, and Mr. Biden has yet to indicate contracting of this disease. For MNN, this is Charles Rivers. Stay with us because tonight we're coming back with the news, and I'll see you back on the early morning show this Wednesday. Have a great day.